We have conquered the sky. We have walked on the dead dust of the moon. We have sent metal probes beyond the edge of our solar system, sailing into the infinite dark of interstellar space. We look up, and we feel like masters of the universe. But we rarely look down. We live on a rock suspended in a vacuum, but we only live on the very surface of it. If the Earth were an apple, everything we know, everything we have ever built, every ocean, every mountain, every buried city exists only on the thin, fragile skin of that apple. Beneath that skin is a boiling, crushing, violent world of molten rock and unimaginable pressure. And we know almost nothing about it. In fact, astronomers map the surface of Mars with higher precision than geologists map the deep crust of our own planet. The ground beneath your feet is the ultimate frontier. It is the ultimate blind spot. During the height of the Cold War, the two greatest superpowers on Earth were fighting for total dominance. They fought in the arms race, building weapons that could crack the world in half. They fought in the space race, spending billions to touch the stars. But in the 1970s, a different race began. A silent race. A race not to go up, but to go down. The Americans and the Soviets both wanted to be the first to drill through the Earth's crust and reach the mantle. The Americans tried first, off the coast of Mexico, and failed. The ocean defeated them. But the Soviets did not give up. They chose a desolate, freezing peninsula near the Arctic Circle, the Kola Peninsula. They brought their heaviest machinery. They brought their brightest minds, and they started digging. For 20 years, they drilled a hole straight down into the absolute dark. They went deeper than the Mariana Trench, deeper than Mount Everest is tall. And then, they suddenly stopped. They sealed the hole with a massive metal cap, bolted it shut, and walked away. The official reports claim they ran out of money, but the rumors that leaked out of that freezing wasteland told a very different, terrifying story. Did they stop because it was too expensive? Or did they stop because they hit something that shouldn't be there? Welcome to the Unfold. To understand the madness of the Kola Superdeep Borehole, you have to understand the sheer physical impossibility of what they were trying to do. Drilling a hole 12 kilometers deep is not like digging a well. It is a battle against the fundamental laws of physics. Imagine taking a strand of human hair and trying to push it through a concrete wall. That is the scale of the drill pipe they were using. A spinning metal thread stretching down for miles. As the drill went deeper, the rules of reality began to change. The pressure became astronomical. Millions of pounds of rock pressing in from all sides, desperately trying to crush the metal intruder. The temperature did not rise slowly. It spiked. Down in the dark, the rock wasn't just hot. It began to act like a plastic fluid. Every time they pulled the drill bit up to replace it, the hole would try to close itself. The Earth was healing its wound. It was fighting back. For years, the progress was painfully, agonizingly slow. They were destroying custom-made, diamond-tipped drill bits on a daily basis. The metal would melt, twist, and snap under the strain. But the Soviet scientists pushed forward. They were driven by national pride and a desperate hunger for discovery. And what they found completely shattered everything we thought we knew about our planet. Geologists had predicted that at a certain depth, the rock would become a solid, dry mass of granite and basalt. They were wrong. At extreme depths, where there should have been nothing but dead, silent stone, they found liquid water. Water trapped in the microscopic fractures of the rock, unable to escape for billions of years. Boiling, pressurized water flowing through the deep crust. And then they found something even more impossible. At a depth of 6 kilometers, the drill brought up core samples that contained life. Microscopic fossils of plankton. 24 different species of ancient cellular life, perfectly preserved in the crushing dark, billions of years old. They had survived the extreme heat and pressure of the deep earth. The crust was not a dead tomb. It was an active, breathing, biological vault. The scientific community was stunned. This was the geological equivalent of finding a pyramid on the moon. It proved that life was far more resilient and far stranger than anyone had dared to imagine. By 1989, the drill had reached 12,262 meters, over 7.5 miles straight down. They had pierced deeper into the earth than any human being in history. But as they pushed past the 12-kilometer mark, the environment turned hostile in a way they had not prepared for. The theoretical models predicted the temperature at that depth would be around 100 degrees Celsius. Hot, but manageable. The reality was a nightmare. The sensors registered 180 degrees Celsius. The rock itself was boiling. The drilling mud, the fluid used to cool the drill bit, was turning into a toxic, superheated steam. The machinery began to fail. The sensors melted. The drill string warped. The earth had reached its limit. It was refusing to let them go any further. And this is where the timeline of the Kola Superdeep Borehole fractures. This is where the official scientific record ends and the nightmare begins. According to the legend that swept across the globe in the early 1990s, the heat wasn't the only anomaly they found at the bottom of the hole. The story goes that the scientists, baffled by the sudden intense spike in temperature, decided to lower a specialized heat-resistant microphone down the shaft. They wanted to listen to the movement of the tectonic plates. They wanted to record the sound of the deep earth. They lowered the cable down, mile after mile, into the pitch-black abyss. When the microphone reached the bottom, they put on their headphones. They expected to hear the low, grinding rumble of rocks shifting. They expected to hear the hiss of pressurized steam. Instead, they heard a voice, and then another, and another. It wasn't a mechanical noise. It wasn't geological friction. It was the sound of thousands, perhaps millions of human voices, screaming in absolute, agonizing pain. A chaotic, deafening chorus of torment echoing out of the boiling dark. According to the rumor, the scientists were so terrified by what they heard that many of them instantly quit the project. They believed, in a moment of pure, primal terror, that they had not just drilled into the Earth's crust. They believed they had drilled a hole straight into the ceiling of hell. The story of the well to hell spread like a virus. It was broadcast on radio stations. It was printed in newsletters. It terrified people across continents. It tapped into an ancient, deeply rooted human fear, the fear of the underworld. The idea that punishment and fire exist right beneath our feet, waiting for us. But let's look at the facts. Did they lower a microphone into the hole? No. A drill hole of that depth is filled with superheated, boiling mud. Lowering a microphone into it would be like dropping a microphone into a volcano. It would melt instantly. The audio recording of the screaming voices that circulated the internet years later, audio engineers analyzed it and quickly discovered the truth. It was a looped, distorted audio track taken from a 1972 horror movie called Barren Blood. The entire story of the scientists hearing the cries of the damned was a fabrication, a hoax created by a religious newspaper to scare people into faith. The Kola Superdeep Borehole was shut down not because of demons, but because of thermodynamics. The Soviet Union collapsed, the funding dried up, and the extreme heat of the rock made further drilling mathematically impossible. The science was defeated by the sheer, brutal reality of physics. But if the screaming voices were fake, why does the story of the Kola borehole still make us so uncomfortable? Why does the image of that rusted, bolted metal cap in the Russian snow still fill us with a quiet dread? Because the truth is actually much scarier than the myth. We don't need to invent a mythological hell beneath our feet. The reality of the Earth's interior is terrifying enough on its own. The Kola borehole proved just how thin the illusion of our safety really is. We walk, we build, we sleep, and we wage wars on a crust that is thinner than an eggshell. Beneath us is a churning, violent ocean of liquid iron and boiling rock, a furnace of unimaginable heat and pressure that dictates the survival of everything on the surface. It creates the magnetic field that protects us from cosmic radiation. It moves the continents. It causes the earthquakes that can swallow cities in seconds. The Earth is a massive, restless, living engine, and we have absolutely no control over it. The Soviet scientists spent 20 years and millions of dollars just to scratch the surface. They reached 12 kilometers. The center of the Earth is over 6,000 kilometers away. We haven't even pierced the skin of the apple. We are floating on a cosmic speck of dust, separated from an inferno of molten rock by a few miles of dirt. The Kola Superdeep Borehole sits today as an abandoned ruin, a rusted metal cap bolted to the ground, surrounded by the decaying wreckage of a lost empire. It is a monument to human ambition and a monument to human limitations. We looked down into the abyss, and the abyss pushed back. It told us in no uncertain terms that we do not belong down there. Some doors are simply not meant to be opened, and some depths are meant to remain silent. This is The Unfold, Stories Revealed.